Hello and welcome back to my Let's Challenge of Ratchet and Clank 3. In the last episode, we completed the first two planets in this game, Planet Veldin and Planet Florana, and now we are here on the Starship Phoenix with Captain Quark here on the side, and we're going to just start exploring everything that this huge, beautiful ship has to offer us, aside from obviously these the pittance of bolts that we can get from smashing everything around. I'm sure they really appreciate us doing this. There we go. So our quarters are located down here.
These are your quarters. I set up the VG9000 to play vid comic discs.
So Quark's going to go into his cage.
How do you think he got like this? Well, the life of an intergalactic superhero can be very stressful. Anyway, you're telling me this nutcase is our only hope for stopping Nefarious? We're hosed.
So there we go, we have...
This is the VG9000 game system. If you have a vid comic, you could play it here.
So obviously we need vid comics in order to play the game system. We will get vid comics later on, obviously.
Great. Meet me on the bridge.
If you head this way, we enter the trophy room. So, obviously we already have the Ratchet trophy, so essentially the top row are all what we would say are character trophies. So they're the various characters in the game, and then the bottom row are for special achievements, such as collecting all the platinum bolts, collecting all the skill points, all this sort of stuff. Collecting all max upgraded weapons. Once you have all the trophies, you can get through this door, which takes you through to the Insomniac Museum, I believe.
This is the Phoenix VR deck. Here you can train in combat simulations or practice using new gadgets.
So the VR deck is actually really useful, and is actually something that we're going to do very quickly. Not because, like, obviously the bolts that we get for doing this are very small, and the battles themselves are not particularly difficult. But the reason you want to do all of these is because if you complete all of them, you get a titanium bolt. So these sort of test dummies are very much like the Gadgetron test dummies from Planet Kalibo 3 on Ratchet Clank. So you have three variants. You have ones that use a bomb glove, you have ones that use pyrocitors, so flamethrowers, and ones that use wallopers. See, it's really, like, none of these are particularly anything for us to worry about. But as small challenges within the game, they are things that we should definitely complete in order to sort of max out our, in order to really say that our Let's Challenge has been wholly successful. So in this one, obviously, we get these sort of holes appearing in the battlefield. So obviously you can tell that essentially there's sort of like three stages. You have the first one where just those small bits between these sort of four main platforms disappear, then you have the main bit in the middle disappearing, and then you'll have the final stage will obviously be both sets being gone as well. Like that. Lovely. So this one's just defeating all these enemies with the shock blaster. One of the things I really like about this game, especially about its upgrade system, is that the the upgrades that you get for each weapon are not just like cosmetic, are not necessarily just sorry, the opposite of cosmetic actually, are not just you know, stats based, but you do also see like they'll change different use. So for example, this is a V2 shot cannon, so I can actually charge it up, and it can use a much more powerful blast, which uses slightly more, which will use slightly more ammo. I am failing at this. Come on, we need to just get back to our usual wrench throws. There we go. Beautiful. Much better. Obviously those ranged, the ranged flamethrower enemies are the hardest to deal with just your wrench. Honestly, none of them should really cause us too much trouble. Lovely, there we go. Bit of a shaky start there, but nice. Okay, good. We did that in under half. Lovely. This one's just slightly longer. You've now got, what, 8 rounds? Okay, so let's continue on with this. Ouch. I'm pretty sure in this level, if you do actually, like, if you do fall into the gap, as it were, you do just sort of bounce off it and have like a, you know, act like you've sort of been burnt or something. Plasma whipped up at V2. Wonderful. Lovely. So, got lots of upgrades currently. So we go, we complete that one. I think we've now... Okay, 90 seconds later. We'll just complete 3 rounds in 90 seconds. Lovely. Beautiful. Finish that really, really easily. And here we go. So, final one, get a titanium bolt. It's probably one of the easiest titanium bolts to actually get. It's not like hidden at all, you know, you just need a... Oh wow, you can actually blow them up before they've even spawned. Okay, so we're making pretty swift progress through all of these nice and short rounds. Ow. I believe this is the only titanium bolt that you actually get on the Starship Phoenix, but I might be wrong. So obviously our plasma whip upgraded and didn't necessarily get like a stylistic change, and neither did our nitro launcher. It's sort of just like, you know, it's just more explosive, does larger radius, whatever, stuff like that. So not every upgrade in the game for your weapons will actually like give you like something brand new, well, as you might well expect. But a decent chunk do, and that's what makes it fun to just continue to upgrade your weapons. You want to see what your weapon will give you next. The V3 plasma whip just looks super awesome, I always think. Lovely, so complete everything, our titanium bolts in the middle, and there we go. So we get quite a few bolts, we'll get we get a titanium bolt as well, all pretty good, pretty good. So what else is there to do on the Starship Phoenix? Well, we have an armor vendor.
This is our onboard Gadgetron armor vendor. We'll notify you whenever a new suit of armor is available for purchase.
And also we have a weapons vendor. A very special weapons vendor though, because what this weapons vendor allows you to do is it allows you to actually test out any new weapons you want to buy in the VR arena, which you can do just by pressing square here. So that's pretty cool. We will most likely be getting the suck cannon next. It's definitely the next weapon I would want to collect. So anyway, we'll zoom over here and go to the bridge. Just to continue on with the story.
Press triangle to interrupt these messages. Try boosting the power.
Isn't that the president?
They came out of nowhere! Tyrannoid invasion force! Presidential compound has been breached! Cannot hold out much longer here.
Mr. President. Dad! Are you there?
Dad?
Robotic citizens of the Solana Galaxy, the hour of your liberation is at hand! Too long have we robots suffered under the bigotry, the stupidity, the squishiness and foul stench of organic life forms. Soon, all robots will bask in the liberty and equality of my benevolent, iron-fisted rule. And as for you filthy organic life forms, you can look forward to being disintegrated. That's all for now.
Plot a course from Arcadia. Maximum speed. Prepare the dropship for planetary assault. We're going in.
We'll see you on Arcadia.
So off we head over to Arcadia, the next planet, and obviously we have our true introduction there to Dr. Nefarious, who, let's be honest, is pretty much the greatest, one of the best video game villains I think ever. Definitely the best definitely the best Ratchet and Clank
A
villain.
new suit of armor is available at the
He's
Galvatron
absolutely
armor
brilliant,
vendor.
and so we have a new suit of armor available. It is 10,000 bolts. So we won't be able to buy it at the moment. The final thing that's available here on the Starship Phoenix is a ship.
You can upgrade.
A ship vendor, which essentially all it does is it allows you to change the colour and the sort of the shape. So if you want like a scoop nose, a split nose, or heavy ordnance wings, high lift wings, all of these sort of things. They're all available. Obviously they do cost bolts, but generally those bolts are relatively meagre in comparison once we get later on in the game where we're earning crazy numbers of bolts. So we actually have, 7 of course, and 1 of 2 on Florana, so I did actually miss a platinum bolt there, and for some reason our ship turned invisible there. I have no idea why. Where did I miss one on Florana? I know you can get them both, probably, at the start. We might have to go back to Florana and find out, but we'll probably do that at the start of the next episode.
Glad you made it, sir. The presidential compound is on the other side of the city. Keep your head down. The Tyrannoids are crawling all over the place.
So here we are landing on Arcadia and ready to do waste to the Tyrannoids that are obviously causing all of the trouble here. We have just grabbed 8,000 bolts, which means we are able to buy the suck cannon, which is really good. I really like the suck cannon in this game. As it did back in Ratchet and Clank 1, obviously it is a weapon that is returning from Ratchet and Clank 1 essentially, but it is improved in every way. We now have, we now will upgrade over time, which is really good, and all these other things. I'm just going to lower the brightness of this slightly. There we go. Okay, so.
Tap triangle to cycle through the last 3 weapons you have equipped.
So the Jackpot Crate not only multiplies the number of bolts you get, but also the experience, which is really good. That means that these weapons that I'm using now will actually gain slightly more experience. So we might not get as many bolts as we could have, but we just certainly got some a decent amount of experience there, hopefully. I think the Tyrannoids are also a great set of enemies. They just have a lovely sort of balance to them, and they've got some really nice... I like the way they sort of grow. You've obviously got the various, essentially the number of eyes that a Tyrannoid has sort of has a relevance as to sort of its ranking, it seems. You've sort of got the standard little guys who are obviously one eyes, and then you've got the sort of the greener guys who pilot the mechs and they have 2 eyes. Then you've got this sort of. The other thing I think this game introduced was that Sutter Cannon can now actually set up crates as well and stuff like that, which looks pretty cool. So we're just going to quickly pop back here because there's some stuff we missed. If we head up here, grab some more ammo, and then also there is a titanium bolt just located just there, which we can collect if you head around here and start wall jumping. Obviously I wasn't in the middle enough there. So there we go. We grab our titanium bolt and now we can pop down the other side. Actually, I think we've turned around. So we'll continue to make progress. We can head over here. Some more baby Tyrannoids to suck up. You can obviously get Inferno power here, which obviously makes, as I mentioned in the previous episode, obviously allows us to become invulnerable and stuff like that. Inferno mode sort of appears, it takes far more sort of precedence in the arenas in the end. We'll kill that guy just with our wrench because odds are the Galactic Ranger might kill him anyway.
Sir. A second wave of Tyrannoids just landed. They're attacking the compound from the other side. We could sure use your help.
You got it.
Follow me to the dropship.
So more Tyrannoids. This level is like a perfect sort of introduction for the Sutter Cannon because obviously there are loads and loads of these small enemies for you to use as ammo. So, nearly done here, I think. We just need to collect these bolts and then I think we've done a good job. And now we go into essentially our first set of Ranger missions. So we have these various operations. This is Operation Iron Shield, obviously repelling these Tyrannoid forces. And we essentially go through a series of missions helping the Rangers with certain scenarios and ensuring that you know, they're safe and stuff. So this first one is here.
Sergeant, you're just in time. We must defend the presidential palace.
We'll just grab all of those. So we get our first introduction to saucers, and so saucers are really interesting enemies actually. They essentially fly above you, and they will let down lots of the really small guys as they fly around. And so if we let this guy actually show you what I mean, there you go. He's spawning the small guys. Now, obviously that's actually useful for us because we can use them for ammo. The thing I really like about this is sort of like the characters and the sort of the lines. All of your you know, Galactic Ranger companions here will all have various sort of little things to say about the situation, whether they're struggling or not, and stuff like that. I think it really adds to the sort of the scene as well, which makes it, you know, which really helps. Makes you feel like you're really part of like a squadron. So in this case, obviously, we've got to defend the Rangers. First of all, I'm going to grab all of these bolts. Lovely. Jubbly. It's like, no you don't! Right, yeah. Lovely, okay. So at the end of this segment, we'll get a large... the dropship will essentially go directly above the Rangers, and we'll start sort of dropping in the big guys. Lovely. So there we go. So now we start have a turn on the turret, which is pretty cool. So, I always like in this level to try and kill the enemies before they sort of drop off any, before they actually drop off any reinforcements. Obviously wasn't able to there, but you can quite frequently actually, you know, sort of kill them along the way. Occasionally, the enemies that they obviously drop down will actually attack you, so obviously... So obviously there's obviously a big benefit to taking out the dropships quickly. So not all of the enemies will obviously go straight for the repair crew. You obviously need to concentrate on the ones that do, like that guy. But a lot of the enemies in this level in particular are just sort of distractions, as it were. Ouch. Jeez, that was that amount of damage. 6 units of health. But can't take many of those. Okay, so lovely. And then the final one in this little sequence is hit and run.
The Nords have launched an all-out assault. We need those air defenses online yesterday.
So essentially, what the air defenses do is obviously they actually essentially provide smaller turrets, which will essentially clear out any of the any sources and any dropships will suddenly, will essentially be taken out rather fast. So what usually happens with each sort of bolt crank here, you essentially get a different sort of set of enemies that will try and cause you some trouble. So like here, before you twist this one, you need to kill the guys that this dropship's going to drop off. And that works for like each of them, so there's like a little challenge within each. So here, you got some of the big guys.
Keep it up, Sarge. We just need one more turret to stop the Nords cold.
About to say, I hope that guy behind me misses.
Thank you for the Sarge.
So now the area is secure and
Agent
bingo.
Clank, you're even more impressive in person than you are on the holovid. And I must say, I've never seen a chauffeur fight like you do, son. Who says you can't find good help these days, right, Clank? Sasha's told me a lot about you. Don't get any ideas, kid. She is way out of your league. Sasha filled me in on the Quark situation. I'm told the man thinks he's a monkey.
He has lost his memory, sir.
Well, then you'll simply have to find it for him. We need our star player back in the game ASAP. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
My daughter tells me you're a man who's good with his hands, Ratchet.
Sir, I swear I never...
The city's laser shield went down during the attack. Now, we are defenseless without it. I sent out a repairman to fix it, but he disappeared. I need you to get that shield system back online.
Yes, sir. We're on it.
You're a man who's good with his hands. I swear I didn't. Anyway, so we'll finish off Marcadia for good. Well, not quite for good, because there are actually some titanium bolts around this area that we can't collect at the moment because we require the magnet boots or the gravity boots, whatever variant of the boots they are in this game. So we pick up our first new gadget actually, which is the refractor, which allows us to redirect laser beams.
The refractor will let you redirect laser beams. Just equip it and stand in the path of the laser. Hold L1 and use the left analog stick to...
So, here is the refractor, and essentially there is a skill point in this level if you actually kill a set number of enemies using the refractor. So essentially, you enter each area and you would just like sort of try and aim the laser beams at them to some extent. And the whole of this little section is just plays with the same idea of messing around with these laser beams. So that goes there, that opens the door, wonderful. So the other thing is that you can also use the refractor to redirect the energy beams of enemies such as that guy, which is rather cool. None of these puzzles are particularly challenging. I love the music of this series. Anyway. So as you can see, the lasers do damage to the enemies, and that's... And indeed, if you were to sort of aim the lasers at the enemies, then yes, they would die.
Ratchet, there should be a spider symbol somewhere in that room. Use the beam to lead the spider drone over the symbol, and then zap it with the laser.
For some reason, exactly at the point where I needed it, it was not working. There you go. Apparently that puzzle, if you listen to the developer commentary on Useless Podcast, they talk a lot about that little level, that little segment there, because apparently that was an absolute pain, and like none of the testers and stuff like that knew what on earth they were doing with regards to that spider, even when they put the symbol on the wall and all this sort of stuff. So I find it really interesting to sort of, you know, hear that sort of stuff and find like the sort of trials it is, as it were, to sort of the trials they had actually making this game and sort of making these puzzles accessible, I guess is the word, you know, so that they understood what they were actually meant to be doing. So here's where we need the magnet boots, essentially. We would need the magnet boots here in order to climb up here to redirect a laser that appears up here. And there is also another section, I think, just behind me. I think, maybe not. Maybe in the next room it is. Yeah, there it is. So you also walk up that wall there, and that would also... So this is the final room of laser puzzles, I believe, if I remember correctly. There, we can aim this one there, and then your second titanium bolt in this little section alone, and the third one on this planet is located just there, but we can only get that once we have the gravity boots to walk up and around. So we'll see a familiar face now, and then we'll be calling this episode to an end.
Hey, look, it's Al. Got the shields up yet?
Silence! I am concentrating.
What the? That's a Quark vid comic.
Excuse me. It is a historically accurate interactive graphic novel.
How can you use the city's defense network to play a video game?
Simple. I bypassed the security server with a 626 hex matrix adapter and reprogrammed the graphic subprocessor.
No, I mean, it's... Clank, you speak, nerd. It appears you have a feedback loop in the induction coils of your DB3 signal processor.
Impossible! I ran a recursive checksum on the signal matrix. Hey, there is a feedback loop. I don't know what happened.
May we borrow this vid comic?
Treat it gently. It is a first edition.
Perhaps this will help restore Quark's memory.
Shield power restored.
So there we go. Marcadia is done. We can travel back to our ship, and then we'll fly back to the Phoenix. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode of my Let's Challenge of Ratchet and Clank 3, and I hope you'll join me in the next episode, as we will actually buy the Spitting Hydra. We will not be using the Infector for a long time. The reason for that is, one, I think it's probably one of the worst weapons in the Ratchet and Clank series. Unfortunately, it's just doesn't work as I would want it to. It does an okay job, but trying to upgrade it is really, really frustrating. So what I think we'll do is we'll probably leave it for a while, and then late in the game, if we've got enough bolts, we'll probably buy it and sort of see if we can sort of rapidly level it up on really difficult enemies at the end of the game, because I'm pretty sure the experience you get for like killing enemies really late on in the game will obviously increase exponentially. So hopefully we can get like a quick X bonus life right at the end if we can like level it up really quickly. But there we go. So we will get the Spitting Hydra instead.
Hold circle to target multiple enemies with the Spitting Hydra.
So the Spitting Hydra is not a bad weapon at all. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode of my Let's Challenge of Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank 3, and I hope you will join me on the next episode where we'll be first collecting that final titanium bolt on Florana, wherever it is, and then we will be progressing on with the story, playing the first vid comic, and then I think we head over to Annihilation Nation next, which is the arena battles, and they're some of the best arena battles in the franchise as a whole, in the series, even into the PS3 era. These are some of the best arena battles in my opinion. So I hope to see you on the next episode.